What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the Fantasy Couch podcast. I'd like to say us stashing these players, Christian Watson, Traylon Burks, Pacheco, Deontay Foreman. Which ones did I get wrong? Sky Moore. I always try to name the ones that I got wrong too. Is really coming through for us. Really going to help. Rashad White. Who else was some of my guys? Kadarius Tony. A lot of these guys that got $0 FAB, right? Like to say this is the reason why we're doing good. But to be honest, this year fantasy football seems a lot more lucky. It seems a lot more random. I've always preached that the formula is about 20, 30%, closer to 30% luck, but the rest is skill. The rest is how you draft, how you make waiver claims. And for a lot of you, I don't trade as much as the average fantasy football player, but I'm trading a little bit more. You got to trade in Dynasty, that's for sure. And trading, that's how you win. But this year, and I'm not bitter. I'm just in a mood. This is just how I feel. I'm not bitter because I'm doing okay in fantasy. I'm not doing that bad this year. Matter of fact, I'm kicking butt in more recently in some of the leagues where I drafted Brees Hall. So I'm not doing bad. It's just I feel like how you gonna survive this year? If you drafted Cooper Kupp, your season's over. I thought my season was over with Brees Hall. As many of you know, I drafted him in a third of my leagues. I was so bullish on him. Great value pick. It's just a grind. What are you going to do? I don't have any topics other than some tiny strategies, Christian Watson fandom discussion, and I'll be answering some of your questions. You guys provide the content for this live stream / podcast. Let's bring up some Christian Watson statistics. By the way, if you're new to this channel, if you're new to this podcast, or you're new to this live stream, my name's Hussein the Brain. I'm in a mood. That's why I've entered dark mode. My Google Chrome is on experimental dark mode. We're just going nuts right now. Christian Watson, the last 2 games. Let me zoom in one more. I know it's still going to be, actually, most of you will be able to see that. Christian Watson, the last 2 games, 5 touchdowns. Let me do this kind of math here. 8 receptions, 5 touchdowns. That's 63% of his catches went for a touchdown. That is 57% of his targets went for a touchdown. So if this man sees 2 targets, he's gonna score a touchdown. That's pretty nuts. Is he more like Chase Claypool or is he more like Randy Moss? I think he's more like Randy Moss. I think he's the real deal. I think he's gonna be good. I know I just made a video on the main channel saying, it's probably going to not work out, but I was hoping I was wrong. I got this guy in a lot of leagues. I drafted him in dynasty leagues. I stashed him in a lot of leagues. Now, I did drop him in a couple leagues as well, but in deeper formats, I always kept faith. I didn't really have that much of a choice. And you're in a deep league. You don't want to drop Christian Watson. So I had this man rostered in a couple redraft leagues, and I have him rostered in a couple dynasty leagues. So Yeah, pretty happy for him. Robert says, and he's just getting started. I don't know how people didn't see this coming. Wait until he starts getting targets. I don't know, man. That's kind of a hindsight thing. He was only rostered in about 9% of leagues. Like, it wasn't that obvious. I mean, I definitely I was more on the side of being a believer. I pretty much had to drop him in some leagues. I just I couldn't stat I couldn't have him on my roster anymore. Actually, I honestly don't remember if I ever dropped him. I'm in too many leagues. Maybe I dropped him in one league. Yeah, I probably did. Yeah, I probably dropped him in one league. Yeah, one redraft league. So yeah, I mean, in hindsight, man, it's easy to say that. But I'm just happy for him. I'm happy for my dynasty pick, and I do think he's the real deal. He just has to start putting it together. He's very inexperienced, but one thing you said is very important here. He's just getting started. So this guy, how many full NFL games has he played? One, two, three, four, around five. Ooh, that's a risky one. Yeah, we started him in Throne League, so that's pretty good. We kind of had to, so we started him. So he's had a lot of injuries. Let's just say he's played like 5 games because a lot of these I'm seeing 20% snaps. One game's 9% snaps. So he's pretty much hasn't even played. Like he's barely been around during the off season. He got injured in the off season. So he didn't really have training camp, didn't really practice. And he's had several injuries during the season, mostly concussions, or one real concussion and one fake concussion, I think we're at. But he's getting the snap counts, man. He's getting real snaps. He's getting quality targets. It is what it is. I actually had George Pickens and Watson pretty close, but I would have started Pickens. Yeah, man, it's good. So yeah, I think he's the real deal. Let me know your thoughts. Uh, let's see what else we got here. Oh, we got Jeremy in the building. What's up? Albert says, when is everyone's trade deadline? That should be in about a week. Let me see. So on Sleeper, I usually just kind of leave the settings as is. So let's see the trade deadline here. This one, nope. This one's still going, but the trade deadline is this week. You will not be able to make or accept any trades after the following week's game. So I think the trade deadline for most people is this week or next week. Yeah. This is when people start cheating and whatnot in fantasy football. Some people start pouting, dropping all their players. It's about to start coming next week. Picked up Watson off waivers and started him after losing Cup. Best decision of the year. Well, looks like you just got your Cooper Cup replacement. So good job. Too damn nicey. Ricky Bobby, what's up, man? Traylon Burks breakout game. Yeah, I stashed him and didn't drop him in any leagues. I got him in redraft. I got him in dynasty. He just needs a quarterback. So let's talk about Traylon Burks and Christian Watson. If you guys have any questions, hit me up right now. I'll answer them. We're gonna do a real short podcast. My main concern with Traylon Burks and Christian Watson are the quarterbacks. Jordan Love sucks. Malik Willis is the rawest NFL quarterback in the league. What are we going to do? When does Aaron Rodgers retire? Who's going to throw the ball to Christian Watson? So in terms of dynasty, like what's going to happen with these guys? try not to worry about it too much because you really can't project what's going to happen in the next 3 years. I drafted Mahomes when he was his second year. Yeah, I got him in like round 9 or something, round 9, round 10, round 8, something like that in a dynasty startup draft. That wasn't even his rookie year. That was his sophomore year. So you never know what's going to happen in 3 years. That's the kind of rule of thumb, the golden rule in dynasty. You don't know if Andrew Luck's going to retire. You don't know when a guy's going to fall off a cliff. You don't know what's going to happen with Calvin Ridley. You really can't predict. So who knows what happens? A player could get traded, right? Like I was a big Chase Claypool fan. He's not even on the team anymore. So you never know what's going to happen. But I am really worried about guys like Treylon Burks and Christian Watson. Christian Watson with Aaron Rodgers, I don't mind that. But what about after Rodgers? I hate Jordan Love. It's Jordan hate for me. Not a believer. That guy sucks. His teammates right now are saying, "Oh, he's pretty good. He can start him. He's better than some starters. He's improved." I heard stuff like this before with Jordan Love. I don't think I've seen that man win a game. Do projections play a factor for you when you pick someone to start over someone else? Now, not all but not all projections are created equal. So when someone says projections, they're thinking ESPN, Yahoo, like, dude, those guys have super simple algorithms. They're not AI, they're not machine learning. They're not made by some accurate expert. They're just basic projections just to give you an idea of what's going on. They could be a helpful tool, but just remember they are a very basic tool. Yeah, basic nail and hammer. It's very basic, rudimentary, cheap. But yeah, when I mix my knowledge, my projections, with some more advanced algorithms, it's all about projections for me. You just got to use the right projections, right? The car I drive might not be the same car you drive, right? Not all cars are created equal. That ain't the same car. Two totally different cars. Yeah. He was very raw. That's why he went so late, Malik Willis. That's right. I don't know what this is. I'm on YouTube at the same time, so I don't know what I don't know what that is. Yeah. This is a very interesting question. And thanks for giving me content on the podcast, guys. You guys are doing my job. Let me take a sip of the juice. What are your rules for teams that don't make playoffs? Should they be allowed to use the waiver wire weeks 15 through 17? So I don't have strict rules, but this is to each his own. To each his own is not the best way to say it. Some say every league is different. So this one's very complicated. First of all, you got to know the type of guys in your league. So if you got a lot of how do I not cuss? Knuckleheads, antsy people, and you know these type of things could happen, then you may have to make a rule. What I just generally say, and is an unwritten rule, is like don't go make a lot of waiver claims if you're eliminated from playoffs. So I'll say this is like a general unwritten rule. Do not make do not make several waiver wire claims and go crazy if you're eliminated from playoffs. I think I'm okay with people making waiver wire claims to stay competitive, make one or two claims. I'm okay with that. Now, some people might not be, and I'm totally fine with that as well. If you want to make that a rule, that's totally fine with me. I just don't care really either way. Like, what are you gonna do? If that team makes a claim and then you don't like, and no one else gets to make it. So it's like I just don't like people going out their way and doing way too much. That's just kind of my rule. Don't do way too much. Don't go and drop all your players. Don't go and put in seven. Don't add 7 players in a week. Don't add 10 players in a week, right? Don't go in there making 20 claims every week if you're eliminated. That stuff I'm totally against. It just makes it ridiculous. Like, calm down, dude. Like, relax, chill out. Now, if you a tight end is injured though, and you're eliminated from playoffs, and you go and add a tight end, I allow it in my leagues. I don't really care. Um, but like I said, it's just an unwritten rule for me. But if you have a lot of these type of people in your leagues that do a ton of stupid stuff, then you can just make it a rule. Hey, look, if you're mathematically eliminated, you're not allowed to make any more transactions. So that's why there is not a standardized rule. Like that's why, because it differs from league to league and it's personal preference. Thoughts on selling high after tonight on Watson for Kadarius Toney? It's very tempting. No, this is a terrible move. I like the idea. You can sell high on Christian Watson. That's fine. But for Kadarius Toney, that's absolute garbage. Kadarius Toney is going to be startable the rest of the year. But once Juju is back, there's still a lot of weapons on that offense. Like, he's not going to be that great every week. He's not going to have that much upside. He's not a traditional wide receiver. Now, because we're talking about realm of reality here, Christian Watson and Toney, those are two different asking prices. So if you want this to happen, that's fine. Why don't you get back an extra piece? At least get back an Ezekiel Elliott or better, right? Zeke's not even good. Like, at least get that back. At least have him throw in, I don't know, AJ Dillon's pretty bad. Someone better than AJ Dillon. AJ Dillon's not even enough. So Toney and AJ Dillon wouldn't be enough. Even Toney and Zeke wouldn't be enough. I'm just saying, like, give me something, man. I need, like, give me at least Eli Mitchell with that. I need something else. Because right now, you're saying sell high. The dude just had 5 touchdowns in 4 days. You can get a lot more than Toney. So no, I don't condone this trade. You do not have my blessing to make a one-on-one trade Watson for Toney. You do not have my blessing. I do not allow this. I do not condone such behavior. If you want this to happen, that's fine. I'm not against it. Just ask for something else. So this is ideally what I would do. I would trade away Christian Watson and another player for Toney and a stud. Get you that stud. I don't think Kadarius Toney's gonna win you leagues. I don't. I'm one of the guys who stashed him. I told you guys to stash him. I wasn't a big believer, but now that Juju might be kind of not practicing, MVS might be back in. Cole is hard. So now there's a lot of injuries to the wide receiver position. And Toney's looking better than I even thought. Now all of a sudden he's a great spot start. I mean, who knows? He could be, but I don't know. There's a lot of wide receivers. I'm not Kadarius Toney, wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3, flex. I don't see Kadarius Toney as like a wide receiver 1 league winner. I just don't. You got to get more for Christian Watson if you send him. And I don't know, man. I was going to. So we got a behind the scenes producer on this show, Drew. He just joined our Dynasty League. So if you guys are keeping up, was this on the last part? Was this a week ago? I think this was just last week. Last week, we kicked someone out of the Dynasty League. We replaced him with my producer, Drew. Yeah, it was just last week. And now I was thinking about selling him Christian Watson. I may not do that. I may just hold on to him in a dynasty league. It's a 3 wide receiver PPR league. So you start 3 wide receivers in a flex. No, that's yeah, see, he wants to trade me Monty for Watson straight up. That ain't gonna happen. I need more for Christian Watson. He just got another 2 touchdowns, so I need more. I need much more. So I might send a trade. I'm really torn because getting Montgomery would help me win now. But if I trade away Christian Watson, a lot of my future in wide receivers, I could be very thin at wide receiver if something were to happen to one of mine. So we got a question from Twitch. Okay, we got Hollywood Brown, Kadarius, and Sutton. So rest of the season, I will rank it number one. Well, number one, Hollywood, knowing that he's gonna miss, let's say, a week, right? You might not even be able to start him for 2 weeks. So I guess number one, Hollywood, knowing that he might miss a week or two, or you might not be able to start him for a week or two. My big concern with that is his quarterback who is injured. Everyone blames Call of Duty. The same time that Call of Duty comes out, he always seems to get injured too. So people overlook that. He's a brittle quarterback, man. Kyler Murray, that is. Number two, I'm gonna go Kadarius Toney. I'm a huge Cortland Sutton fan and believer, but his coach and quarterback and his team suck. And I'm not gonna be able to vouch for this Cortland Sutton character anymore. So I like Kadarius over Sutton. Like right now, this week, I'm starting Kadarius over Sutton, and that would just do it for me. That's enough to rank him ahead the rest of the season. Armando says, I've been offered Jamal Williams and Duvernay for Waddle. No, stop. My reads are nope. That's stupid. Go trade for real players. Don't trade for quantity. Don't trade for quantity. We're getting closer, but we're getting much closer now. I don't know. We're getting a lot closer. I have to think of that's the thing. Like I have to think about it. I haven't been playing Dynasty long enough to go all in on the win now mode. I've always been either in between or rebuilding. And I finally have a team that's both young and a top 3 team in the league, so I can win this year. And I still have great young pieces. I got Mahomes, Saquon, Singletary, Ramondre Stevenson, Eli Mitchell, Christian Watson, Debo. I still got a lot of youth on that team. Isaiah Likely, Chick Okonkwo, Kittle, Gerald Everett, a lot of youth still. We'll see, but we're getting closer. Montgomery, what do you guys think? Should I trade Christian Watson for David Montgomery and Cordell Patterson? I think I'm not gonna accept that, but I think we're getting much closer at least. Yeah, we're getting much closer. Much closer. Yeah. So Armando, what you want to do is go a little bit bolder and get you a real player, not Jamal Williams. And buy low. Go get DeAndre Swift. Man, I had all these options. I had a lot of buy low options, but Swift is still buy low. JT was a buy low last week. Why don't you go get DeAndre Swift? That's a great buy low. Go get you a buy low, man. Don't get a Jamal Williams. That's like one of those hopeful starts. Nah, don't do that. This trade's not good. I think you need to make more of a splash here. And Waddle's great. See, Waddle is an elite player. Waddle's going to help you win. I don't think Jamal Williams is going to help you win, dude. What's he gonna do? Get you one more fantasy point than Gibson? What are you gonna do with one fantasy point? What are you gonna do with one fantasy point? And you lose Waddle, so you gain a fantasy point. Awesome. Duvernay, he's basically a bench player. Like, I mean, he's not gonna help you win. And then, yeah, you gain a point, and then you get rid of Waddle. No thanks. The other side takes a huge dub. He's not even starting Duvernay, so he throws in a bench player. That's like waiver fraud. I don't know. That doesn't make sense, but I love how it sounds. So he gives you some waiver fraud in Duvernay, and then he gives you some RB debt, Jamal Williams. So Jamal Williams, he's barely starting, and Duvernay's on his bench. This guy's trading you basically two bench players and getting a wide receiver one. Like, that guy's really getting over on you. Don't let people like that take advantage of you. Stand up. Stand up. Come on, stand up for yourself. Chandler says traded away Jamal Williams, Tony, and Carter. Oh, DeAndre Carter for Mike Evans and Swift. That's very good. This is what I'm talking about. Round of applause. It's like the exact opposite. That's what I'm talking about. I love how this comment came right after that first comment. The exact opposite. That's what I'm talking about. Quantity for quality. And look, Kadarius Tony, you may have done that because I was pushing him. You may have done that on your own volition. Regardless, you stashed him for free like I did, like I said to do. You got Jamal Williams for free. You got DeAndre Carter for free. You got Kadarius Tony for free. Now you get an RB1 and a wide receiver one for just guys you got off waivers. You probably didn't even burn a priority. You may have spent money on one FAB on one of those. You may have burned priority on just one of those guys at most. The other guys, you got them for free, man. You got those three guys for free. That's what I'm talking about. You know what? There's not too many out there. Just do this. Just go and get a quality player. Just remember, it's quality, not quantity. Swift is ideal. Try to get quality. What you're doing is getting quantity. You want to get quality. And easier said than done. One of the easiest ways to make that work is to throw in an extra player. So instead of trading him Waddle, you want to trade two crappy players like he's doing. Take a page out of his book. You trade your Duvernay and some player, like you trade your 2 scrubs, 3 scrubs like this guy did, and go get one player that has a lot of potential. You go ahead and do that. All right, guys, we're going to end the podcast here. I'm in a mood. I'm ready to win, though. It's been just a crazy year. I'm very, very happy for Treylon Burks and Christian Watson, 2 players of mine. Just very happy for them. I like when things like that come to fruition. Even though I benched Treylon Burks, it is what it is. I did start Christian Watson in one league. It is what it is. What are you going to do? I'm just happy for them. Stay dedicated, guys. Go get that W. Stay competitive. Peace out.